Instead of whizzing electrical noises everywhere, you get a nice, good old American V8 and a way, way nice interior. Holy smokes. Still makes the same I'm a Ford noise, but listen to that. Jesus. That sounds like a NASCAR. So easily the best sounding pickup truck of all time. Wow.
Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And this big, giant, enormous thing is a new 2023 Ford F-150 Raptor R, which means it has the 5.2-liter V8 under the hood, supercharged to 700 horsepower, same as my old GT500, although a little bit less power in an off-road Baja-style pickup truck that Ford has been making for over a decade now. And it is totally awesome. I didn't buy it though. It is very expensive. The base price on these, $110,000 with options they get even higher, but on the street they sell for well over their MSRP. And that's despite this being the truck that people aren't supposed to want anymore. A big gas-guzzling pickup truck that gets 10 miles to the gallon, but people are going absolutely insane for these. It's been years since Ford offered a Raptor with a V8. They've only been doing the EcoBoost V6, the twin-turbo V6, and, well, a lot of those are sitting for sale and not moving, but the Raptor Rs with the V8, well, they move really quickly for over MSRP. And coincidentally, the Ford Lightning pickup truck, the EV pickup truck that supposedly everybody in the world wants, according to, well, government politicians and Ford marketers and such, it's sitting and languishing on lots enough to where Ford has had to lower the MSRP on Lightning pickup trucks. Now, about a year ago, I bought a Lightning pickup truck and tried owning it for a little bit. Had an interesting video where I couldn't tow. The towing range was just so abysmal. Basically, I got less than 100 miles in towing just a small 1930s Model A pickup truck. Made a video about it, and well, it ignited a political firestorm, shared on sites and shared on news stations that I never thought I would see my ugly mug on. And I didn't mean to ignite this political firestorm. I just wanted to show the huge limitations of the Lightning pickup truck. Basically, it was where Tesla was over 10 years ago, and the charging was such a pain in the butt. I got so much flack for that video showing the obvious limitations of that truck and why people don't want it, and then actually got rid of it. And right after that, the Lightning battery completely bricked on the thing. It sat and languished a lot for a while it waited to get fixed, which is another big problem with them. And well, that was the end of my story. Now, recently, the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, he took an F-150 Lightning on a road trip, and he talked about the limitations. He actually complained about it, said it was challenging. He understands what customers are going through when it comes to charging and range and all of that stuff. So it was interesting to hear from the horse's mouth, literally, what I had said a year ago, and got so much flack for it, and it got so politicized, but it's just absolutely the reality. And now the trucks are hard to sell because they are difficult to own. Meanwhile, Ford continues to build this dinosaur in name, but also a total dinosaur of a pickup truck, a big V8 that we're supposed to be sort of moving away from, but customers are going totally crazy buying this thing. It is the hottest pickup truck for sale right now. It's currently for sale at Eddie Chevrolet. They bought several of my cars recently. They sold me the Corvette Z06, my old dealership that I used to work at. This is the second one they've gotten. One they got traded in on a new Cadillac Escalade V, another company that's supposed to be going all electric, yet the Cadillac Escalade V sells for well over its MSRP, the 700 horsepower Escalade SUV with a big V8. This is the second one that they've gotten in. So I'm personally skeptical of this EV adaptation because of the demand for these trucks and demand for, well, other trucks like the Ford Maverick. I imagine that would be the best-selling truck in the nation right now if Ford would just build them to meet demand. They could easily sell 10 times the amount of trucks that they make. Little hybrid pickup trucks that get 40, 45 miles per gallon in the city. That's what people are looking for. They are a value car for around, $30,000 fully equipped. Everybody would rush to buy one of those. They're not going to buy an EV Lightning full-size pickup truck with limited range and a huge price tag of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. That's not what people want when they're wanting to save money. They're not wanting to spend it on a huge, expensive pickup truck. But why listen to me? I'm just a dumb YouTuber. Eventually Ford's going to lose the advantage, I imagine, and Chevy and everybody else is going to come up with a Maverick-style pickup truck to sort of dilute that, and they'll miss their chance of having like the next Ford Mustang in 1964 and a half and having years to themselves before anybody else could catch up. But right now, I have the Raptor R, thanks to Eddie Chevrolet, just to borrow it for a little bit. And we're going to take it up to the Car Wizards and compare it to my 1972 Ford pickup, my latest purchase, and look over this thing and see how much easier it is to work on and understand compared to the Ford Lightning that the Wizard and I looked at last year. But first, let's take a tour of this thing.
Now, I got to tip the hat to Ford because this must be the most diverse platform ever in existence. The fact that a Lightning and this Raptor R are on the same chassis is just unreal. On the Lightning, it was all electric junk in the front and an extra trunk. Under here, which we'll look at with the Car Wizard, is a giant V8. But they didn't want to make the Raptor R too much different than a normal Raptor visually from the outside. Of course, the extra R symbols and I think a little extra bump in the hood. The R is red in Raptor down the side and in the badging as well, but otherwise it's the same width, the same track. It looks like a normal Raptor, even though it is like $40,000 more than a base Raptor with the EcoBoost V6. Now it comes standard with the bigger tires, 37s I believe. You can see the compound shocks there, the latest iteration of them. Looks like they're special for the Raptor R as well, at least because they have the R on them. In orange, and this one has 1,000 miles on it. Also a little bit stealth in the gray. I personally like it quite a bit. You see most of the press cars in like orange or bright colors, but this one being a bit more subtle, you could remove the graphics and almost look like a normal person. The bed hasn't been sprayed or protected in any way at all, and it's beeping at me. Are we gonna do the thing? Yeah, totally electric like the Lightning. And like the Lightning, you have the ability to power, well, your job site or your house. You could lose power with this 120 volt plug-in here in the back. Everything that was in the Lightning crazy technology-wise. Let's see, will it fold back up? Push some button. I'm a little rusty. There it goes. But instead of whizzing electrical noises everywhere, you get a nice, good old American V8 and a way, way nice interior. Holy smokes. Still makes the same I'm a Ford noise, but listen to that. Jesus. That sounds like a NASCAR. So easily the best sounding pickup truck of all time. Wow. Holy smokes. But the interior is so different from the Lightning as well. You have the giant screen a la Tesla in the Lightning pickup truck. With this you have screens galore, but a much better presentation in my opinion. This looks way upscale and expensive, justifying the six-figure price. And the modes, see, you can change in here. Okay, I'll close the door so you can see it. We put it in four-wheel drive, off-road use, yes, 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 rock crawling, but we can put it back to normal mode or sport, tow haul, slippery. Just a very neat system that Ford has done here, technology-wise, interior-wise. Easily the best in the game. The shifter still that electric fold-down thing for whatever reason. I guess it gives you a flat surface, so that's neat. But the carbon fiber mesh in here, the seats with the multiple materials in it, just looks very, very premium and expensive. Big old sunroof as well. I'm just blown away by this thing, by the quality, the feel of this thing, and how different it feels from a Lightning pickup truck. How much better it is, and the driving experience the same, totally different, and it's so much better. Last thing, Bang & Olufsen sound system, pretty banging too.
Well, one unintended byproduct of the Raptor's giant tires and big flexy off-road suspension is a really soft, comfortable ride just going down the road. It absolutely does soak up the bumps and feel almost like a luxury liner. It's absolutely massive though, as far as maneuvering in tight spaces and things. Just ridiculous, but it's really fun. And now we're gonna get out of the parking lot here and onto the road, and we can let loose of 700 horsepower, which I certainly missed in my GT500 here. Here we go. That's 60. That's a lot more. The 0 to 60 on this truck is under 4 seconds. It's in, I think, the mid 3s, which is insane for a ginormous thing like this. But you're going down the road now, and it's just like a nice, comfy luxury truck. So $110,000, it's a lot of money, but considering what this thing beats, like this thing almost better than the Mercedes S-Class in the ride quality and comfort and tech and everything. And the people buying these things, they're not going to care about fuel economy. Yeah, it gets 10 miles per gallon, but you go to the gas station and it takes 5 minutes to fill it up. They don't want to sit and wait an hour for a 40% charge after they went 150 miles on a road trip. They're not going to put up with that. Someone that can afford a Lightning or this truck is not going to have time to mess with that. They're just not. Even people who are buying Ford Mavericks for 25 grand don't even want to mess with that. But I guess they don't make Mavericks, just to go back to that, because they don't make very much money on Mavericks. So there's probably not much of an incentive to build 100,000 of them a year. That is so amazing. Oh. It's just stupendous. Stupendously stupid, but stupendously awesome as well. The only thing is, age-wise, will this car be a complete nightmare to own? Because modern pickup trucks, at least a lot of the Fords, have had issues as they've aged. It started with diesels when they got away from the 7.3 in the mid-2000s and went with a terrible 6-liter, and since then the diesels, well, they haven't been the same. They haven't been worth owning. And then when it comes to normal pickup trucks, the 5.4-liter with the cam phaser issue, that was a big problem to get more power and economy out of the V8. That was a really, really bad era of Ford engines. But the one bright spot certainly was the 6.2-liter. The one bright spot after that was certainly the 6.2-liter, which was offered alongside with the EcoBoost. But the EcoBoost has its fair share of problems. But the 6.2, really solid motor. Jeez, this thing is nuts. And actually, Chris Kassler over at Eddie Chevrolet, the one who bought all the cars from me, he has one of those Raptors with 300,000 miles on it. Getting on the highway, one last pull. It's crazy, crazy. We'll see what the car wizard thinks, because the one issue with these trucks is how they age. I mean, look at all this electronic stuff, all the gobbledygook. We're not seeing the normal 200, 300,000 mile life out of these modern trucks in the last 15 years or so that we see out of old Fords and old Chevys and such. And it's a big issue. And that is one advantage to electric vehicles, because at their principle, they are very simple. You have a battery, you have an inverter, and you have a drive motor, or 2 or 3, depending on how much power you want to put down to how many wheels. At its principle, very simple compared to these complicated engines that we're getting to meet emission standards and fuel economy standards, and to get the most power out of the least amount of displacement, which that's not the case here. They just went for full power and full displacement, but certainly tough to own, tough to maintain, which is why we're heading to the car wizard to see what he thinks of this engine and this brand new pickup truck. And I know they've been working on my 1972, which is a very simple machine, so it'll be fresh of mind to make a comparison. All right, into the wizard's lair. Looks like the Ford's getting some work done. The wizard's messing with his wizard. No, it's the only reason I have it is it's about $150,000.
That doesn't sound like a 72 F250.
No, it sounds like a NASCAR.
Good Lord.
It's a 700 horsepower Raptor R.
I bet it's quick.
Yeah, quick, like 3.5 seconds to 60 quick.
Wow, and a big truck.
And a bit, well, every bit as quick as the Ford Lightning. Unlimited range, obviously, because you can fill up in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. But you remember the Lightning, right?
Yes, I remember how complicated that was.
It was a total disaster as far as ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what you think of the Raptor R, because obviously it's a very complicated pickup truck. Mm-hmm. But does it have anything in common with the 72 Ford? Because this is the range topper Ford of 2023. There it is in 1972, biggest engines, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think the only thing that's going to be in common is they're gasoline engine trucks. I don't think anything else.
Well, looks like you guys are doing some work to it, huh?
Yeah, we got the tune-up done and valve cover gaskets. Now we're starting on the transmission service.
Okay.
Actually, we have the transmission pan off. It's a C6 transmission.
Yeah?
You see it down there, cleaning it up and getting ready to go back together, serviced and ready to go with new fluid.
How'd the fluids look? Any surprises?
It
Anything
actually looks
bad?
very clean.
Yeah?
Yeah. We got your valve cover gaskets done and plugs, wires, cap, rotor.
Yeah?
And after we get all this done, then we're going to tackle your AC.
Doesn't look like it's been converted at all, huh?
No, but we probably will do that. It's very easy to work on. This is the generation of vehicles where you just take your time and work and you don't get mad. And
So maybe 2 hours to do a tune-up in the valve cover gaskets.
yeah, it's very, very simple.
I wonder what valve cover gaskets look like on a Raptor R pickup truck
I don't know.
with a big supercharger on it.
I don't know if I want to know.
I saved the under the hood reveal for you, Wizard, so let's take a look. Now, one thing Ford doesn't do is hide things in a ton of plastic, for better or worse, because we've looked at like the Broncos and things, and it's kind of ugly in the presentation, but at least you see everything,
It
the
doesn't
good
look
and the
too
bad.
bad, really.
You know, it looks like an old, like Terminator, like something out of a Cobra Mustang or a,
Yeah.
you know, a Marauder. It doesn't look that evolved, does it?
Obviously, there's tons of electronics and all kinds of gizmos and gadgets under the hood, but really, it doesn't look imposing or angering to work on. There's plenty of room all around the engine to where you can reach things, and it's very well designed.
So compare this to like an EcoBoost. Say most Raptors now have the EcoBoost. This is a very rare, hard to get truck. So what do you think of those?
EcoBoosts are definitely more complex as far as... One thing I've always seen on those is like the coolant lines, the hard lines that go to the turbos, they're always leaking. They're a pain to change. If anything happens with your supercharger there, or is it supercharger?
Yeah, supercharger, yeah.
If anything happens to supercharger, you're not underneath the vehicle, and it's just right here. You work on it right here. So
Right. And hopefully they figured out cam phasers by now.
I hope they have.
But Ford had the 6.2 liter V8 in the old Raptor, and those are really solid motors. We had that one on season 3 of Car Issues with over 200,000 miles. Good luck getting an EcoBoost to that, obviously.
Yeah, no
So,
kidding.
and the modern diesels as well. I mean, that seems to be the engine. It's a shame that it took them years to put a V8 back in the Raptor, and they're doing it in such limited quantities. But
One thing I'm seeing already, if you have power brake issues on this, the most it's going to cost is $400 or $500 with a booster and a master cylinder and everything. Look at that. It's like electronic module
oh,
melded into the master cylinder and your ABS and your...
so, and it has the same kind of high voltage orange wire like you'd see in the Lightning as well. So I guess it has a little bit of that in common. Probably electric power steering. Yeah.
Very likely.
Yeah.
But I know one thing is the if anything goes wrong with that, it's probably going to be a couple of grand or more, 2 or 3 or who knows.
So a little bit of crazy new stuff, but overall,
I wouldn't be afraid to work on this.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, and clearly you're not afraid to work on the Ford, or you were playing with your truck over here. I hate to. You're putting a lot of time and money into this truck, aren't you?
A lot of people watch this video, and a lot of people were like you. They didn't see a very fitting end to this truck.
Because it has bullet holes in it. It's a gangster's truck.
But I have, and you guys will see it on a video I got coming out here pretty soon, actually today. This is an LB7 Duramax.
So you're putting the big truck Duramax in your little gangster truck that
Yes.
has rust and bullet holes and damage on every single panel and stolen wheels.
Getting rid of those spikies. And look at this. See the 3 bolt holes for this LS motor mount?
Yeah?
Look at the Duramax.
Well, okay.
It's the same.
And then you can tune it and have about as much torque as the Raptor R, probably.
Yeah, easily.
If they haven't sold this thing already, which they probably will because they sell really quickly, we can drag race. But this one,
Okay.
being all-wheel drive, it has the traction and all that stuff. Really cool truck.
It is really cool.
Every day of the week over the Lightning.
I want to smell the inside.
Okay, smell the inside. Yeah, you'd have this over a Lightning any day of the week,
Oh,
right?
yes, I would. This is a fun truck. It'll be fun, obviously not economical. That would be a barrel of, I don't know how do I say that.
Barrel of Raptors.
Yes. a barrel
Thank
of
you for
Raptors.
watching.
Once again, another big thanks to Eddie Chevrolet Cadillac for letting me try out this Raptor R. You can check out their crazy inventory, including a few of my cars that I sold to them online at eddiechevroletcadillac.com. I'll have it linked below as well. Goodbye, Raptor R.